Welcome to OWAD Today. I'm Sophia, pilot into the universe of Chinese. Today's animal character is Silkworm, Chan. So Chinese often address this silkworm with a loving tone because silkworms are, I guess, for whoever raises silkworms, are cute. It's almost like a pet, but actually it's classified as economic animals because they can produce silk that you can sell, can create economic values for you. So Chinese has been the inventing place for this, and we have Silk Road, right? So the whole trade based on this humble animal. So this worm has especially cultural significance for Chinese. This is a contemporary spelling, and we have the worm symbol at the bottom and the sky from the top. And the other day I was talking about the Chinese using the goose from the sky as swan, right? We romanticize goose of especially kind of elegant type of goose of swan. But here we have a simplified version of Chan, of this worm from the sky, I guess, because of its significance to make a good living for silkworm farmers. They probably is especially valued, therefore they're regarded as the worm from the sky, another romanticizing of animal. But if you look at the traditional Chinese, this is kind of mid-historic because there are earlier versions that we're not touching. This is kind of somebody already combed through the existing Chinese characters and summarize it as silkworm look like that. So you can see the worm, there are multiple worms at the bottom. And then on the top, actually, we got speaking. It's called a yue in the middle. So we have the mouth symbol. It's implied as serving the function of speaking, eating, or a sort of mouse count, equivalent of an English head count, Chinese count mouse, okay? Then this one with a horizontal line in the middle means sweet. And then it has this opening on the top, means you're actually speaking, like let your thoughts known, but you sweetened it. Sweet talk, basically. So you kind of tell somebody something, like share your wisdom into something. A lot of times it's what's the word in English? It's a pill hard to swallow. So therefore, the common behavior is you really want to share your life experience, your insight, and it's hard to hear for somebody. And you're going to sweeten it. And so that's a Chinese yue. So basically it's a speaking with a horizontal line, sweetened speaking. And then on the top, we have, this is a human figure. It's kind of transformed, kind of wavy sign like this is a human figure. And on top of that, there are two backward walking, it almost look like a flip-flop sign, because in ancient times, the shoemaking is not like industry like today. It's mostly homemade, like clothing, homemade shoes. And it got two decks. So your soles are not touching the ground directly. There is a separator over there, kind of insulation, right? And then this is the, I guess, supposedly where your toes going through. So you can hold the shoes onto your, fitted onto your feet. And then this is backward walking, because I guess supposedly Chinese Orient have a sense of direction of from right to left. So like our humans, we have this direction is the human, like a correct direction, so to speak, like a forward walking direction, versus this is backward walking. And we have the shoes looking like that. If it's facing that way, it's like forward walking shoes. And if it's doing this, it's backward walking. So we have this backward walking and the human figure over there. So you will say, well, why that foot is on top of somebody's head, right? It got several transformations in the middle. one version of it is equivalent of a Chinese yawning, kind of doing this thing. So we have this human figure, have 3 strokes, which means recurring or kind of coming as a wave of air from your lungs, right? So when you're yawning, you have this air going out and it comes in waves. It's not a continuous straight jet. It's like, especially like to do that thing, right? This is backward to that. So instead of, it's like air under your control, you're just yawning. Well, I'm not sure actually yawning is under control, but this is about belching. So it's another way of air escape your lungs or your stomach in that case. So you have an air reverse going. So this backward walking symbolizes reversing that process of air coming out of you. So instead of coming out of you from your lungs, you're coming out from stomach, and it's supposedly food going in downward, right? That's right order. And now it's like, even if it's only air coming out, so it's some sort of, I guess, energy, hot air coming out from your tummy, and that's regarded as reverse, as if it's a reverse walking. So the stomach condition is described here. And there are 2 of them. So it's a recurring of that paired with speaking. It's long-winded, the whole thing. This left, right, 2 times of belching, belch, and speaking, sweet speaking together forms an Chinese expression that's no longer in use. According to scholars, it means you have a certain articulation, almost like like a wow or something like that, right? It doesn't really have a concrete meaning. It's only have, I guess, expressive emotional value. It doesn't have its physical, or you cannot map it to a physical thing. It's your emotion expression. So this emotional expression, almost like kind of a wow kind of sound, I guess. That's ancient, nobody heard that before. So I don't know how people would express kind of a surprise or frustration. Like in English, we have like, you know, habitually, like people pick up on this way of making sounds to express certain emotions, but we don't know why. We follow the trend that's commonly shared emotional expression. Air puffing without a word to it. So that's the Chinese version, and that paired with double worms. Double worms means multiple. We express multiple things with this doubling. So on the top 2, it's like, even if it's only 2, it could mean multiple of them. And so these, because silkworm, if you visit a silkworm farm, most likely it's not a single worm, it's a whole farm of worms, right? So double means multiple such worms that creates this sound effect as if humans are ooh and ow over there. I mean, I don't know how it's pronounced. I'm imagining, picturing it as a ooh and ah. It's kind of an English equivalent of such emotional expression. So I guess that's either the silkworm brings so much joy and fortune to whoever farming them that they deserve such compliments, like ooh people, ow people all the time. Or it could be depicting the silkworm, I would imagine, because they are worms live off sangye. Okay, I don't know how to translate sangye. We will encounter that later on, but this particular type of leaf, and they're going to chew on it all day long. And so I would imagine in the sound effect in a silkworm farm would sound like a chewing sound, crunching, chewing sound of this leaves by, I don't know how many hundreds, thousands of such worms at the same time. Oh, and then probably that's the sound effect from humans' ejaculation. Is it ejaculate? I don't know what's the word for it, but that emotional expressions are going to be paired with worm symbols to mimicking the sound effect of a silkworm farm. So if it's your first time seeing this symbol without knowing the definition of it, you probably can fairly guess the meaning of it just by my interpretations. It's logical. Okay, two expressions. 蚕丝 means silk, the fiber format of silk. And by the way, 蚕丝 before polyester, man-made, long fiber era, industrialized production of long fiber, silk fiber is the longest, like man-made. It's still man-made, but it's not, it's natural, it's organic, it's not chemistry. So that's Chinese to say the essential, like the end product. Like we want the cocoons, and we want the cocoons turned into silk fibers. And 蚕丝石, okay, I intentionally put I mix it up. I intentionally put the two. It sounds similar, but it has tonal difference and the definition is different. 蚕丝 is the silk fiber. 蚕石, okay, you cannot do the flat one. You have to curl your tongue over there. 石 means eating. So eat as a silkworm, meaning tiny little bit of bite, eventually eat the whole thing. So Chinese use 蚕食. One as a military occupation, like you take tiny little bit of ground once in a while, like no biggie, nobody like going to be upset about it because it's such a tiny, small area. But if you do it incrementally for a long time, eventually you're going to take a big land, right? So instead of do this big invasion thing, 蚕食 means you eat like a silkworm. That's a military strategy. And applying to contemporary living, it's marketing, not marketing, like market penetration. You push your competitor out of the market by like eating like a silkworm, incrementally compete, taking over their clients, their market, and eventually, be the bigger one instead of the smaller one. So that's the use of 蚕食, and two of them, 蚕丝 and 蚕食. Oh, it's difficult to pronounce. Anyways, I have a worm phobia, so I cannot see that word here, that picture here. Here I'm showing you the very end product. And supposedly this is a picture taken in somewhere in Shanghai. And interesting, you see, it's almost like the wave, that picture, but not necessarily. Okay, so brocade on silk, highly decorated, Chinese style closure, which is kind of center and have this knot, tiny little knot as the button. So before the button is, we have this fabric knot thing, and that's the look. I mean, I guess that's a pretty typical classical Chinese garment look. And this is made of silk. So just to show you what silkworm produces. Here you go. Chen. Thank you for your time. See you another day.